by avoiding it. You build neuroplasticity for avoidance, not acceptance. So you want to try and avoid avoidance. Stop resisting. Because how can you resist? Just simply accept it. Because it's going to give you so much fun. So I want to give you 2 tips on how you can overcome resistance. And like with anything, spirituality and mindfulness, easy in concept, difficult to actually do. Hello and welcome to Productively Mindful. My name is ailandas.sulcas and I talk about everything mindfulness and spirituality on a weekly basis. What I wanted to talk about today is something that I'm experiencing a lot right now, which is the new lifestyle that I'm approaching with my wife, where we live in a van and just travel the world, and intense resource management and all kinds of planning, where to camp, where to park overnight. It's a bit difficult for those that live in the UK. You know how stringent the rules are, how little leniency there is in this country for van life, but that's what we're doing now. And there's a lot of resistance towards a new life because there's a lot of discomfort. So I wanted to talk about what resistance is in terms of the spirituality and mindfulness practices that I talk about. To put it simply, resistance is denial, non-acceptance, perhaps judgment of what's happening in front of you right here, right now. Resistance means denying the plan of creation as it is unfolding in front of you. And that causes a lot of problems, a lot of negativity, a lot of issues in life, a lot of stress, anxiety as well. That is due to the fact that reality is undeniable. It's in the word, it's real. It is what's actually is. It's just real. The thing with reality is nothing has it. Nothing has reality within them. I don't have reality within me. This camera doesn't have reality within it. But everything is real. Because we're aware of all of it. We're present within all of it. And we're experiencing all of it. Experiencing it through the act of simply being. So essentially what is happening is you are trying to live life in denial. Almost every single time something happens that you're not comfortable with, you try, perhaps not intentionally, but subconsciously, you try and deny it by creating an alternative result in your mind, even though it's something that has already happened and presented you with a result. Or you're trying to create some sort of a fictional event in your head that's going to happen in the future that will somehow remedy whatever situation you're in. Both of those cases just make you time travel and use a lot of energy on pointless thinking that's not going to result into anything. There's a difference between that and manifestation as well. So if you think that I'm just talking about manifestation, really thinking about something all the time to make sure that you're tuned in to actually achieve that task, you're wrong, because there's a lot more to manifestation. And if you want to know more about manifestation and how it actually works physiologically and spiritually, drop a comment below and let me know. I can make one. That's what resistance is. Your ego essentially engages because your ego is very good at protecting you from everything discomfort. So your ego engages and it prevents you from experiencing reality as it is by filtering down information and spewing it out into your thinking mind, slightly adjusted in a way that makes it comfortable for you. That's how denial works, essentially. Resistance to what reality is. So in essence then, resistance is seeking comfort. It's trying to find a position in the current situation, in the current moment, that will give you the least discomfort possible. And again, that manifests in all kinds of problems and issues, and they don't necessarily have to be in the moment issues. They can be issues that accumulate over time, because resistance doesn't happen to one-off situations and events. It happens as a accumulation of similar situations as well. If you have a tendency to deny what's happening in front of you, any sort of event, emotion, situation, experience, because it's making you uncomfortable, that will just allow your ego to put that situation aside for a later date, literally. Because something's gonna happen, regardless of how similar it is or not, it might be just enough to trigger that past event that you haven't dealt with when you had to. And it's just gonna cause you more suffering, because the longer you delay overcoming the emotions, events, experiences, whatever happens, when it happens, the more difficult it gets, because you're building the wrong type of neuroplasticity. You're building neurological pathways in your brain to re-trigger yourself when something similar happens, the more it happens. You're building neuroplasticity towards that similar situation, event, or experience by avoiding it. You build neuroplasticity for avoidance, not acceptance. So I know I talk about neuroplasticity a lot, but this is a good example of neuroplasticity that actually doesn't benefit you and actually does more harm than good. Anything that you do regularly will build neuroplasticity, so it can be negative as well. So you want to try and avoid avoidance. Stop resisting. Because how can you resist experience of life? How can you resist all of these senses coming into your being and constructing this objective reality in front of you? And I know it's kind of a clickbait when someone talks about, oh, reality that you see in front of you is not real because what you're seeing is being constructed by 3 color receptors in your eyes. Everything is blue, red, and green. Everything you hear is just sound waves. It's not actually emitting any noise. It's just waves. Everything you see is just a way of your brain interpreting light waves. Touching something, that is just atoms resisting atoms. You're not actually touching anything. There's all these things, you can keep going and going and going. Everything that we see, perceive, experience is a manifestation of our mind through our 5 senses. And then it's very easy to say, because of that, the reality that we're experiencing is not real. Oh, it is real. Because me, you, everyone else is in it. It's the isness of existence that is real. We're experiencing it. You cannot deny the fact that we are experiencing whatever it is. So the fact that reality is perceived individually, reality itself is one. Reality itself is and simply is. So the isness of reality is shared between all of us, but reality that we experience is subconsciously individualized. We don't even realize it, but it is individualized based on how we experience the world through our senses. The rawest form of it is when we're born, and throughout our lives, based on those past emotions, experiences, events, situations, we build up certain shields, certain filters in our ego, and the way we perceive the world changes drastically. That's where all the resistance gets learned and built up in our thinking mind to creation itself, to reality, and it makes it very difficult for us to experience life as it truly is. That's where things like trauma comes in. Trauma gives very strong preconceptions of what a situation that's similar to that trauma-causing situation will present the body, the thinking mind with. And it's extremely difficult to just simply accept things like that and overcome them. So instead of looking at reality when it unfolds in front of you and thinking, why in the hell do I have to deal with all this pain and suffering that's presented to me? Look at it in a different way. Look at it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to develop yourself, to overcome the issues that the situation relates to from the past that you haven't dealt with. Or perhaps it's a completely new lesson that you can learn from right here, right now. Start building your resilience, your willpower, your ability to be simply present in reality through accepting everything that's happening right now, right here. Another thing that not a lot of people think about when it comes to resistance towards this specific thing, or towards anything really, is that resistance is, like I said, lenience towards comfort. And comfort means being static, being non-changing. That sort of approach towards life is not correct. And even though it might be assimilated to finding balance, like the way of Tao, Tao Te Ching, if anybody has read that text, is absolutely mind-blowing, very complicated, but very good. But it's all about balance, right, in Tao Te Ching. And it kind of sounds, what I said might be to do with balance, being kind of static in your place. But no, it's just being on an extreme. What your ego does is, if you are strongly associated with your ego, it's going to try and keep you in different extremes throughout your life passing by to help you overcome an extreme that just passed. So if you get presented with an extreme of discomfort, your ego is going to try to put you in an extreme of comfort to counteract that. So if you perhaps are presented with a confrontational situation that you don't like, as opposed to accepting it as is and just being your true self and overcoming the situation as it is there and then, you might get presented by your ego with an extreme of comfort, which is, as opposed to voicing your own opinion, agreeing with the person's opinion, even though deep within you know that you completely disagree with them. Now that situation is going to present you with perhaps some uncomfortable feelings, questioning yourself. So your ego will try and present you with another extreme, some sort of self-indulgence perhaps, to try and overcome that issue that you're presented with, or not overcome, rather medicate it. So your ego constantly bounces you back and forth from different extremes. But what that does is it always try and keeps you in a comfortable, familiar situation. The problem with that is that there's no creativity. If you're always familiar with the situation, with what's happening in the moment, that means there's no change. Change is an expression of creativity. We have to be in the unknown to be creative, to find solutions to the unknown. So if you're constantly sitting in a situation that's comfortable for you, there's no change, you're just trying to cope with the situation by finding places in your mind or your external environment that are just comfortable to overcome it, they will all be familiar. So in order to be truly creative in life, you have to stop resisting. Stop resisting life itself, and you will be creative in life. So I want to give you 2 tips on how you can overcome resistance. And like with anything, spirituality and mindfulness, easy in concept, difficult to actually do. So if you do it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, that's a very short period of time. Don't expect miracles to happen in that time. Consistency leads to results. Consistency leads to neuroplasticity. But remember, it could be bad or good. So first thing you can do is simply be your authentic self. Now, I know I say simply, but what is your authentic self? Your authentic self is when you understand that you are reality, you are God, you are universe. You need to remove all the masks that you put on your face to accommodate for certain people. You don't have to accommodate certain people. You don't have to accommodate anybody but yourself, but do it with compassion. Give people the compassion that they deserve. Understanding, acceptance. And if you understand and accept by truly being yourself, by not putting on a mask to be able to accept them, but just truly accept them, by being your authentic self, you will align your frequency, your vibrational level to what truly reality is. There's no more masks. Don't have to be pretentious of anything. You won't have to be stressed about making sure that everyone's happy in terms of how you present yourself or what you said or what you expressed, whatever it may be. You won't have to wear these masks anymore if you're your authentic self, because you cannot be authentic with any masks. Imagine how good that would be. Just that weight off your shoulders, falling off your shoulders, because you just don't have to be me number 1, me number 1.2, me number 3, or like all these masks that you have to have, depending on what you do, sometimes hundreds a day, different masks. How tiring that is. That brain power that you have to use to put those masks on, to fine-tune yourself for every single person that you speak to, is exhausting. Stop doing it. You don't need to. The people that need you will accept you in your authentic self, because that is you. Secondly, what you need to do then is tune into your inner child, because that's where all the creativity is. All the creativity from purely and simply enjoying all the sensations that you're experiencing in life, by creating space to allow for efficient thinking, efficient creativity. Tuning into your inner child will also show you what actually makes you happy, because doing things that your inner child wants to do are the things that you as a child would just simply decide you want to do. Not like you want to go play with some Legos or something and you're like, but I have to make sure that I don't overdo it because I have to go to bed early, or all these restrictions that we get as we grow older and have responsibilities. I know you have to be sensible of the fact that there are responsibilities, but when you have the time, when you have the opportunity to just simply have time for yourself, just do what your inner child wants to do, allow that creativity to flow freely, and just simply accept what happens when you're doing it. Just simply accept it, because it's going to give you so much fun. If you're doing something that you feel like you should be enjoying, but you're denying the enjoyment to yourself, you will hate it. You will absolutely hate it, even though you know deep down within that you're loving it. So accept it and love it. Do what you want to do as your inner child will want to do, and just have a freaking blast. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really wanted to touch upon the subject of resistance, because I feel like it's so important to everything that I talk about, really. If you did enjoy the video, click like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. I'm always very eager to have discussions with you. Let me know if you agree with what I said or disagree. Always happy to have a chat and see different perspectives and opinions on what I say, because I don't know everything. Some of you know more than I do, and I'm very eager to learn. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for staying along for the whole of the video, because I know my videos aren't really that short. I hope you found some value in it. This has been ailandas.sulcas from Productively Mindful. I love you all, and I will speak to you next week. Goodbye.